Here we go.
Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm gonna be starting a new series on Star Citizen where I am going to give the most brutally honest review of different ships in the game, starting with the ATLS, the new mech suit they've put in the game, and we'll work back through some of the other ships that need to be reviewed a little bit as well. So, if you like this kind of content, be sure to leave me a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz. We're just gonna jump into it. Now, let me give you a little context as to why I want to do this. So, I don't play on the PTU, number one. So, I've had access to the same information on YouTube that everyone else has. I've been watching all the different reviews and whatnot. Probably have the same information as everyone else. So now that this suit is on the live server, I finally have access to it. And I wasn't home yesterday when this patch dropped, so I'm even a little later than normal to getting to new content like this. So I had even more time to look at other people's reviews and the information they're putting out regarding this new vehicle, this new suit that you can get in game. And so the reason that I wanted to start this series and do this video in particular is because out of all of those videos that I watched, you will not hardly hear anything negative about this new suit. And that is just mind-blowingly insane to me that people have used this vehicle and can't find anything negative to say about it. I mean, that's just insane. So I can't decide if the content creators for this game on YouTube are just simps or if they're being paid to give positive reviews. Now, I do have some positive things to say about this suit, and I will get to that. But there is way more bad to be said about this suit than there is good at this point with it just coming in the game. So, I'm going to leave the gameplay going on the screen so you can watch some of the struggles I'm having with this suit while I talk about this, and we'll just go ahead and get into it. So, with the new patch that dropped, 3.24.1, they have nerfed the regular tractor beams again. They already nerfed the speed and the weight that you could lift with the regular tractor beams in the game. So, what they've done now, though, is to make it to where the multi-tool tractor beam can only move 8 SCU boxes when you're by yourself. If you are in a party and two of you have the multi-tool tractor beams and both of you lock onto a 16 SCU box at the same time, then you can move that box. But solo, you will not be able to move a 16 SCU box with the tractor beam on the multi-tool. Then the tractor beam rifle, which is the one I was using anyways since the first nerf because it's just got double the range. The speed's pretty much the same, but it has twice the range, so it's just a lot easier for me to use that now, or has been. So, the tractor beam rifle, though, can only lift a 16 SCU box. So the size I'm lifting here with the suit, that's the limit of the tractor beam rifle now if you're solo. If you have 2 people with the tractor beam rifles and you latch onto the same box at the same time, you can move a 32 SCU box. Now, for someone like me that mostly plays solo, that's a problem. So, this is one of the bugs I was running into on the screen here, is that once I had a box locked onto the cargo grid with the Atlas suit, I could not move it afterwards. Even later in the video, if we get to that part where I try to unload this ship, I was not able to use the Atlas suit at all to unload the ship because I couldn't latch onto any of the boxes that had been locked onto the cargo grid in the ship. So that's one of the bugs we're seeing. But let's get back to what I was talking about. So me being a solo player, if I run into content with 32 SCU boxes on it, this mech suit is a requirement to be able to move those boxes. It's the only way I'll be able to move them, right? So that's a problem. If it was just cargo hauling missions where you ran into 32 SCU boxes, you could just avoid those missions. It really wouldn't be that big of a deal, right? But I've been running into 32 SCU size boxes from my mining orders. So if you do mining and have the completed order loaded onto your ship, chances are you're going to get a 32 SCU box of something. Especially if you're using the mole. If you're using the prospector, you probably won't run into that issue. But if you're using the mole and you end up with 32 SCUs of titanium or something like iron, something like that, in your load on the mole, you'll end up getting a 32 SCU box of that when you have the order loaded onto your ship. Yay! So not only does that affect the cargo hauling missions, but it's also going to have other effects in the game. So that's where my biggest problem is with that nerf. The cargo hauling missions, at least you can read the description and avoid the missions that have the 32 SCU size boxes in them. But yeah, mining, you're not going to have that luxury right now because you can't pick what size boxes you need to get with the order right now. And auto loading still isn't working, so yeah, fun. So thank you, CIG, for that. That actually does turn this suit into a money grab for me. That's the absolute definition of a money grab for me. If you're playing solo, this suit is now a necessity if you're running into those larger boxes. Now, that's not going to affect everybody if you don't want to do the larger cargo hauling missions and you don't want to do the mining where you're going to run into that, or you just have, people playing with you that can help. I guess it's not that big of an issue. But for someone like me that mainly plays solo, that's a problem. So, Uh, that's a real problem. But so CIG definitely needs to be blasted for that. They also need to be blasted for the fact that they put this in the live version of the game. And you can't tell me that they didn't put this suit in the game simply to try to distract everyone from how poorly 3.24 was already. So this is just, them trying to wave something shiny in front of our faces and distract us from how bad the last patch was. It's probably working, except for it, and it probably would have worked better if they hadn't also nerfed the regular tractor beams in the game at the same time. That very much overshadows how happy a lot of people were that this thing is going to be in game. But not only that, we're going to talk about some of the bugs as well. But I also feel like anybody on YouTube that was giving a overwhelmingly positive review of this vehicle, of the Atlas suit, they definitely deserve to be blasted as well for this, because this is just insane. After playing with this thing on the live server for, I don't know, a couple hours, my experience with it is overwhelmingly bad. There are some good things about it, and I'll talk about that as well, but overwhelmingly bad. So for someone to be putting a review on this mech suit on YouTube that is mostly positive is just horrible. And honestly, I'm not gonna mention names. I know who I watched that was guilty of that, and I 100% will not be watching their videos anymore. But I'll leave that to you guys to take that up with whoever you watch or whoever's content you like the most for stuff like this. But yeah, for me, those people just lost me, just hands down. Not gonna watch that. So let's go ahead and jump into the Atlas and talk about some of the pros and cons of the Atlas. Let's go over the pros first. The pros, the tractor beam on this mech suit is really fast. It's faster than anything else in the game. So as far as moving a large amount of cargo, this is hands down just great. On the plus side, they only wanted $40 for it in the shop, and I'm trying to make that a positive, because honestly, I expected $100. That's the only reason I'm thinking that's a positive. But it could be worse. It could be worse. They could have slapped $100 price tag on this, and I mean, I'd have been upset about it, but there's nothing I can do about it, especially being a solo player and the type of person I am, where I have to try everything out myself. I can't just take someone's word for it. I have to try it out myself, see if it's good or bad. So it doesn't matter. So $40, I'm still going to kind of call that a plus. The best thing they could have done was just put it in game for in-game currency. That would have been a huge plus, but of course, that's never going to happen. Another plus. Hold on, I had one. Oh yes, they made this suit small enough that it will fit in a lot of vehicles. So you can move this suit around with you without too much trouble. if you have your C2 fully loaded, you can get this thing inside without taking up any cargo space. So that's definitely a plus. The size on it is definitely a plus. And the way this thing works, where you're not having to scroll your mouse wheel, is great. You know, that is a very beneficial change to me, to not have to scroll the mouse wheel the whole time. So that's another plus. All right. That's about the end of it, though. But I will say that in the few cases where you really want to use this, and I will talk about the like when this thing is truly beneficial to have in a second, but in the few cases where it's beneficial to have, it is amazing. This is one of the bugs I was having, where I would try to lock it onto the grid and it bumps into other crates or something else and bounces around and it'll never lock there. That just happened on the screen there. It'll happen more. You'll see it quite a bit. So let's talk about the downsides of the Atlas suit. One of the biggest ones is, in a lot of cases, it's simply not useful. If you're not dealing with 100, 200, 300 SCUs of cargo, it'll take you more time to get this thing out, get it situated to where you can use it, than it's worth. By that time, you could have used a regular tractor beam. There it is, it bouncing around, and it won't ever lock. So I'm sure that's a bug. I'm sure they'll work on that, but right now it's a problem. But yeah, so it's only going to be useful on some of the bigger hauling contracts, like the medium cargo and large cargo interstellar cargo hauling missions. That's really about the only place this thing is truly useful. Oh, right, I forgot one of the well, it's a con, so we'll just talk about it now. So with me dealing with 16 SCU boxes here, right? I have not found a way. I don't think there is a way in the game to turn the boxes sideways to where they'll fit the way I want them to in the cargo hold of the C2 here. So that's a definite con. Now I could be wrong. They could have control in the game for that, and I just don't know it. So if you do know it and I am mistaken on that, please leave it in the comments. Let me know what the control is, because I would like to know. So another con, one of the bugs I'm having here is that I haven't been able to, most of the time, stack a crate on top of another crate in the cargo grid. That's why you see me jumping out of the suit and moving the boxes around with the tractor beam rifle, is because I can't get the suit to actually do that. Also, another con, even in a bigger ship like this with the C2, right? You've got more headroom in this than most ships in the game, right? But the way the suit puts the box above your head, it's not enough room. And it'll end up putting it right in front of you and obstructing your vision where you really can't. Like, it's a real trial to get it to where it will have the box snapped to the cargo grid. So that's another one of the problems I've been having. Again, hopefully that's something they will work on, and later versions of this should work better. Hopefully. Then there's also the bug I was talking about earlier, where once I have snapped something to the grid, I can't move it. Like, I can't pick it back up with the suit for some reason. I'm sure it's a bug. I'm sure they'll fix it, but it is in the game, and that is happening right now. So that's definitely a thing. So honestly, there's not a lot of instances though where this suit is actually beneficial to use. In most cases, it's gonna slow you down more than anything. Right now, this is a 247 SCU order that. Well, no, I've already loaded the 247 SCU order, and it took like 15 minutes, over 15 minutes to load it in the C2 with this thing, mainly because I was trying to get it to work. It would have been faster if I had just been pulling the boxes up in the ship and then, knowing that I needed to get out of the suit to situate the boxes where I wanted them. But I was trying to make this suit work, and yeah, it it just doesn't. So, and like I say, there are a few good points for this vehicle. Is it worth buying? No, no, not at all. Not in any way. Not for any body. Honestly, you're better off just waiting until it's put in the game and then get it. Even if you are a solo player, it's not worth the money the way this is working. Even in the few cases it is, beneficial to use it. It's not that beneficial to use it until you get to dealing with the 32 SCU boxes. And if you're mole mining, that is a problem. I mean, that does end up being a pretty bad problem. But other than that, you can just avoid the hauling contracts that have the 32 SCU boxes. So, if you're going around doing trade runs and getting boxes of something from the outpost, you get to pick what size boxes you want for that right now. So, well, you can avoid the 32 SCU boxes for those. So, again, no reason to have this thing. Yeah, no, hands down, do not buy it. It's not worth the money in any way. And until they fix most of the bugs, I can't see it ever being worth the money. There's just too few instances where this thing is actually beneficial. So, like I said, if you're trying to do those large cargo hauling missions, you can either just avoid the 32 SCU box missions or get somebody to help you load it. Honestly, I would a lot rather do that. Pay someone a couple 100,000 credits in game to help load instead of paying, actual money for this hot mess. It's not worth it. And anyone that is giving an overwhelmingly positive review of this vehicle is just dead wrong. They're either working for CIG or they're just simps. Or they're delusional. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me at all how anybody could have anything really overwhelmingly positive to say about this thing. It's just not the case. You've got to do a whole lot of sugarcoating to have good things to say about this thing. And honestly, you've kind of got to admire the amount of recording and content that they had to do to actually get content where this thing was working fairly well. So, look, here's another problem I'm having. Mainly because I'm trying to load into the front of this ship. I do recommend trying to load from the back, but honestly, I just recommend not even worrying about this thing. Just avoid the bigger boxes. So this is just my problem. I don't know if anybody else is going to agree with me about the other content creators for this game and the fact that they were giving positive reviews for this thing. That was one of the few times I was actually able to stack a crate on top of another crate. That was, I'm glad y'all got to see that. That was one out of probably 50 that actually worked right. But yeah, it just tons of problems. Will this be good in a couple patches? Probably. I fully expect them to put a lot of work into this thing and try and save face over how bad this is. You've got to feel bad for all the people that have bought this, though. I mean, it's a mess. I mean, I don't feel bad for myself. I wanted to see, and now I have, so. But I feel bad for anyone buying this thing thinking they would get some use out of it and it would be useful, because it's really not. But that's just my opinion on it, and honestly, I mean, I am griping about this suit, don't get me wrong, but this thing just hit the live server, which for some reason CIG puts everything in the live server before it's ready, so that was to be expected, you know. I don't really have a problem with the suit so much. I think it will be, you know, fairly good for what it is and for what it's going to be used for. I think it'll be fine once they put some more work into it. But am I going to give it a positive review now? No, not in any way. But more than anything, this video, I really wanted to make it just to complain about the other content creators for this game on YouTube that are, you know, it's all sunshine and rainbows. Everything the CIG puts out is just wonderful. I saw a video of someone saying 3.24 is the best patch ever. And I don't know what patch they're playing, but it can't be this one. It just can't be. Not with getting another nerf to the tractor beams and then this put in the game and it barely works. In some cases it barely works, and other cases it doesn't work at all. So, you know, that's my biggest gripe, though, is that any of the content creators can compromise their integrity enough to give this a positive review. And, you know, like I said, I'm not going to watch anything from those ones that I've noted that did that now. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that matter, as well as the Atlas suit, as well as the patch overall. If you have another ship or vehicle that you would like me to do a review on, where, you know, I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass and try and make CIG money, let me put it in the comments. I'll jump right on that. The good thing is I don't have very many viewers and even less people that comment on my videos. So if you do leave a comment like that, chances are you'll probably be the only one, and I'll get to it immediately. So that's a good point, I guess. So that's all I've got for you on this video, though. Honestly, I am just overall disgusted with a lot of the content creators. But be sure to leave me a like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think about my opinions on the video, or on the other content creators, on the suit, on anything at all, CIG in general. Just, yeah, let me know what you're thinking, and I'll see you in the next one.